So I want to say to young entrepreneurs there, start small. Look, it's good to dream. But then there's that level where we just then start fantasizing, and it will discourage you then to start. Get on it, start small. Reinvest those small profits back into the business. And you want to manage your cash very tightly. You can be buying shares on the VFX.
Wow.
We actually have got 6 companies that their share value is at 10 cents. So if you have got your dollar, imagine how many shares you can get from that company on VFX.
Hello, viewers. This is your premier business startup show that we call the Entrepreneur's Corner, brought to you by MoneyMart Finance and, of course, our subsidiary, Mosolako. We bring to you insightful and educative content right here on this program, where we get to sit down with our founder and visionary, Dr. Ethel Mupambwa. In this program, we focus on how entrepreneurs can get started, how they can survive, and how they can scale their businesses for the best. And in this inaugural program, we are going to be focusing on business growth and scaling, how to build a business in a difficult economy such as ours right here in Zimbabwe. Welcome. My name is Talent Kasu, and with me, Dr. E. Welcome, Dr. E.
Thank you so much, Talent. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you and to speak to entrepreneurs.
Especially speaking with entrepreneurs. This world, this country, our continent, Africa, will only survive when we make sure that entrepreneurs are supported and they are given the tips that they need to know, especially at this point in time.
That is perfect. So, Dr. E, just to get started, the entrepreneurs out there might want to know, what is your background and how you got started?
Talent, I come from a very rural background. Nembudzi Goko. You always say Goko yazita shekare. But look, I'm coming from a very rural background where in that place in Nembudzi Goko, having grown up, getting used to the environment, you will not even see anything that is wrong around you. Only when I moved to the city, experienced the third road, that I realized, no, there's a problem that needs to be solved from where I come from. I studied finance at NAST. But look, what happens in class is that they just give you that content, which I call bookish stuff. But after having opened your mind with that bookish stuff, having known the principles, having read those subjects, coming into sense with it, what was then my next step? Now combining that knowledge with where I come from. So this is how I started. Financial exclusion for me was firsthand from Nembudzi Goko. And I could imagine now, having been opened up with my studies in finance, how can I integrate those studies, break down them in a simpler manner so that I solve the problem that I was experiencing together with my kinsmen back in Nembudzi Goko. So I identified a gap. Informal entrepreneurs' businesses are thriving, but they have no access to finance. I went back. My mothers, growing up in a polygamous family, my mothers are the ones who would run around. They would do the madoiris, if you. I remember in our rural area there in the village, our grandmothers would do competition of doing arts with their baskets and everything else, even how to decorate their huts, But what did that give them? Nothing at the end of the day. But if then we had turned that village into a tourist attraction center, life was going to change because the artistic view they had and the skill they had. So this is where I'm coming in to say, look, is that gap of knowledge. And when I started, I didn't start with capital talent. I started with identifying a problem and sitting down, how do I solve such a problem.
There you go. That tells us that background doesn't really matter. For now,
Not at
you are the background and you need to get started. So, Dr. E, last week you spoke about investment opportunities starting from as little as $100.
Yes.
And of course, which sectors entrepreneurs can focus on. Could you take us deeper into each of those and other investment opportunities in Zimbabwe that are completely being overlooked right now?
Yes, Talent. You know what? I always say the difference between the so-called underprivileged and the ones that are so-called rich, it's knowledge, talent. Depending with the plan that you have. I talked about real estate investment trust. Today, let me tell you about something that would also benefit. And this is ideal, especially for you viewers who are salaried and you need to have that long-term wealth preservation. You could actually go on Victoria Falls Stock Exchange here in Zimbabwe. You know, our VFX has got 15 companies, Talent. And you know what? Companies with shares valued at less than $10 are 13 of them.
Wow.
With your $10 consistently every month, you can be buying shares on the VFX.
Wow.
We actually have got 6 companies that their share value is at 10 cents. So if you have got your dollar, imagine how many shares you can get from that company on VFX.
10 of them.
It's just knowledge. But I come back to entrepreneurs, especially our very own entrepreneurs here in Zimbabwe. What are we saying? I remember last time I talked about agriculture value chain. Look, I always emphasize this. You might not even need to farm, dear entrepreneur, but that support that you need to give farmers. You need to understand that in any economy, whatever happens, we are still going to eat. So the agriculture value chain is underrated, but I tell you there are big margins there. Poultry feed distribution, what are you doing about it? Aggregation of that produce, what are you doing about it? The storage solutions. I see, you know, I was so hurt, Talent, you know, driving along Emerson Mnangagwa Road, the so-called enterprise. There were farmers from, I think they were coming from Mutoko Murewa with a truck full of tomatoes. They had a breakdown. I think they spent almost 3 to 4 days. And imagine what was happening to those tomatoes. And now they were just selling those tomatoes, you know, at a very cheap cost because especially to those people that are just passing by the truck. They could not even afford to change a truck, then to continue with the journey to the market. They stayed there with their tomatoes. What a waste. But there's an entrepreneur there. Have we ever researched about drying of tomatoes? Making sure that we preserve that produce and it really make it long. Storage solutions, the cold rooms. Why should entrepreneurs, farmers actually get stuck with their produce? Someone needs to have those cold rooms. Let them rent a space. Let the produce stay for 2 weeks. And they can sell at the best price that they can get. Seedling production, I can say it more and more. But there's also another line that I want to talk about. Logistics and distribution.
Okay.
It's underrated. You know, in Zimbabwe, whoever controls movement controls money. Did you know that?
Interesting.
When you control movement, you control money. Check the taxi innovation that we have, the InDrive that we are using these days.
Yes.
When you control movement, you control the money. Delivery services. You know, I'm so surprised. Why are we not using those motorbikes for distribution purposes? The 3-wheeler, The electric, we just need a solar system to recharge that three-wheeler and to start distribution business. Why are we just seated?
And saying there are no opportunities in
Saying
Zimbabwe.
there are no opportunities in Zimbabwe. So many opportunities for young entrepreneurs out there.
Interesting. He who controls the movement controls the money. Interesting there coming from Dr. E. Before we take a breather, Dr. E, the government of Zimbabwe is cutting license fees and, of course, reducing some of them, taking some of them away. And that's in a bid to ease the cost of doing business in Zimbabwe. I know you've just spoken about value addition. You've spoken about seedling production and so forth. Which other sectors do you recommend that young entrepreneurs start with, which are most profitable right away? I know you've spoken about logistics. You've spoken about value addition. You know, with so much production going on, people can get into so many byproducts of tomatoes instead of selling the fruit itself. Are there any other sectors that you feel, I mean, Zimbabwe is an agro-based economy. There's so much to talk about here.
Talent. Have you moved recently around Zimbabwe? Not just the big cities, just around Zimbabwe. Have you ever realized how construction and housing projects are booming? And maybe that entrepreneur is looking at me and saying, Dr. E, where will I get capital to start construction? No, not at all. Even my mother's toilet today, the pit toilet in Nembudziagokwe, it has been tiled right now. Tiling is just a skill. You don't even need capital. Brick molding. What are you doing about it? Hardware retail. What are you doing about it? Painting services. You know, I talk about paints with passion.
Quite much.
I talk about paints with kind of passion because my husband is into production of paints.
Yes.
You just need the skill to go and be trained to be a painter. So many things are happening in construction. And, you know, I was talking to certain builders who were at this construction site. I was asking them, you know, just for interest, like, you know, I enjoy talking to young people, discovering what is that going through their mind. So I was asking them, so do you guys have O-level certificates? And the other one was laughing and said, Mother, they O-level certificate.
They always say that.
They always say that, but I tell you, there's so much money in construction. Go and learn how to build. You don't even need, sometimes you don't even to start by paying for that building course. Join that team that is building, the builders.
Yes.
Join as a Daka boy. At one time, they'll tell you, hold this brick, put it there. This is how you do it. Why are you not joining as a Daka boy? Go and join them. Another sector is the services sector, talent.
Yes.
When I talk about service business, you know, service business can actually scale faster because they depend more on the skill than the capital. Cleaning services, talent.
Just mopping the floors.
Mopping the floors. Look at those cleaning companies. Look at the malls that are popping up in our cities. Can you not give them services to mop those floors? It's just the skill. Repairs. There's so much being done about aluminium and everything and anything. It's the skill that's needed. You know, when I meet a young person who tells me, Mother, you know, I can partition your office with aluminium. I'll not ask a certificate from them.
You just need to know what other jobs they've done.
Show me a picture. Take me where you have done this work. You know, give me a reference. Let me ask them. And that's all that I need.
Yes.
So those services, beauty services. Look how beautiful I'm looking today. Money was paid to someone just for that skill. My nails are being taken care by someone
Somebody.
because of that skill. You know, right now, even ICT services, we are talking about AI talent. There are young entrepreneurs there that can give those services, especially to small businesses. You can recruit just 5 businesses, start doing their Zimra tax returns for them. Now look with what's happening. It's now compulsory to have tax, to be tax compliant.
Yes.
Why are we not doing that? We need to be able to look at ourselves and what is around us, what is booming around us, and get into some of the things don't even need capital. It's just you going to volunteer where you have passion and you got this skill. I always tell you about starting MoneyMart in a veranda, right?
Yes.
And raising the capital from Cake Mart, the cake business. I just needed my hands. I just needed the skill that I had got on cooking. And I started getting the money.
Practice.
So this is what I'm encouraging the entrepreneurs. What's that skill that you have? Start thinking, how can I make my skill make money for me? Go and volunteer yourself in those industries where your skill is relevant and get the experience. Soon enough, you'll be registering your own company.
There you have it, viewers. Your passion developing into a skill and the skill making money for you. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be looking at how MoneyMart started in a veranda and how you also can get started.
Say hello to a smarter, faster way to get instant answers with MoneyMart Finance. Meet Libby, your 24/7 virtual assistant, ready to help you every step of the way. Need financial guidance? Looking to apply for a loan? Libby has you covered instantly. No queues, no hold music, no branch visits, just a simple WhatsApp message anytime, anywhere. It's fast, secure, and incredibly convenient. Everything you need is right in your hands. Step in the future of finance today, save our number, and send a hi, and let Libby take you from there. MoneyMart Finance, empowering your dreams, one conversation at a time.
MoneyMart Finance, creating wealth, changing lives through digital means.
Welcome back, viewers. We are still happening right here on the MoneyMart Finance YouTube channel, where we are talking to entrepreneurs today and in several other days to come. This is a series of programming that we'll be bringing to you every Wednesday. And we are still in conversation with Dr. Ethel Mupambwa, founder and group CEO of MoneyMart Finance. Dr. E, MoneyMart Finance started on a veranda. In Zimbabwe, startup capital is just close to impossible. How did you resource the business in the early days for you to get started? And of course, what advice can you give to someone out there who wants to get started?
Let me start with an advice talent. Your first capital is your customer. Your first capital is your customer. So how I started MoneyMart Finance, like you said, I started in a veranda. Like I said earlier on, the skill is the one that then raised money for MoneyMart Finance. I started by baking cakes. It was the skill, right? And it just needed a small amount of money, which I would ordinarily ask even from my sister. Say, can I please have $50? I want to buy these cake ingredients. And the customer was the first actually investor for me to raise my capital, even for MoneyMart Finance. So I want to say to young entrepreneurs there, start small. Look, it's good to dream. But then there's that level where we just then start fantasizing, and it will discourage you then to start. Get on it, start small. Reinvest those small profits back into the business. And you want to manage your cash very tightly. I always tell people, talent, even up to today, I love Chibage Chakagochwa. You know the story.
You did.
Yes. When I buy that roasted mescop for $1 for 2, I quickly go to my WhatsApp group, which is just myself. I call it my finances. I record Chibage dollar for that day. When I buy my airtime, I record. At the end of the week, I can then start saying, oh, so I bought a whole $10 for chibage chakagwacho.
Roasted corn.
Roasted corn for what?
$10.
So the following week, I become so disciplined. In as much as I love it, I know this is where my money is going, and I can cut that, desire, so that the other $5 I place it resourcefully. So I want to say to young entrepreneurs, don't really think about big monies. Start with a customer, not with an office. I started in a veranda.
Yes.
Start with a customer, but the veranda had customers out there because the customer is the one that gives you revenue. Start with a customer,
Yes.
not an office. Sometimes you don't even need the equipment, or you just need to borrow the equipment for 1 hour if that skill needs equipment.
Yes.
And then you put it back. You don't start by big branding. But now, the beauty of the digital age, you can actually make your posters, digital posters, and place them on Facebook. You don't even need to go for printing.
Yes.
And you start advertising. But the bottom line is that your number one investor in business is your customer.
And the conditions don't have to be perfect for you to get started.
Conditions don't have to be perfect.
Thank you, Dr. E. So how can entrepreneurs formalize their businesses? I know a lot of them are apologizing out there for not being formal and, of course, for not being compliant with certain regulations. How can entrepreneurs formalize their small businesses and, of course, start treating it as a real scalable business?
Talent informal gets you started. Don't think about formalizing if you haven't started. Go there. Take that first bold step, start informal, right? Because informal gets you started. But what does then formalization do to you? It gets you to get funded. That's the beauty of formalizing your business. Now, how do you get to those steps of formalizing your business, registering your business? There are so many ways in Zimbabwe to formalize your business.
Yes.
You can actually register as a sole trader. One man-owned business is allowed in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Then you can go to a private company. A private company just needs two directors, 2 shareholders.
Yes.
50-50 or even 80-20, 90-10.
Yes.
It's just you and that trusted partner. The first owners of CakeMart were just Kenneth and Ethel. It was enough.
Yes.
We were there, just 2 directors. The business was already formal. And as you walk through that journey, remember we've already started informally, right? You are being disciplined with your money. I want you to separate personal and business money. I know so many entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe Talent. They don't have a salary from their businesses. They can just buy bread for home use, for home consumption. This is where they also then start thinking, I need to get home with free seats for the babies. Start disciplining yourself. Money for the business and my money. You might really not need to start with a monthly salary. Look, you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Give yourself a weekly allowance. This week, my allowance is just $20. What is $20 doing for me? It's getting me transport. It's making sure that I take bread home. So take that $20 on a Monday. Every Monday, $20, then the week goes by. Every Monday, already you're separating personal finances and business finances. The third, start keeping records. Someone might be thinking, Doc, you really want to keep books of accounting? No. Don't think that deep. Start writing down. When you took out that supply, for your business, look, let's go back to the cake business. I would go to that cake shop. I would buy all the ingredients.
Yes.
I write down the ingredients. These are my ingredients for this order.
Yes.
And I write the cost of those ingredients, right? I then make sure that the electricity that I've used to bake my cake, I record approximately. I bought $5 electricity. I finished baking my cake, the $5 was still, so approximately maybe I used $3 of electricity. Record it, right? Now I had to get onto my public transport to go and deliver the cake in town.
Yes.
I record my transport money because it's cost to the business, because the cake will not sit there if it's not delivered to the client. So start keeping records. Those small records will tell you how your business is doing. Start taking care of your clients, the first customers, so that you keep on checking on them. Look, whenever they have birthdays every year, put reminders. Look, and follow up a month before and just check on that little baby that you made, 1-year-old cake. Say, how is our baby doing? You're keeping connection. It's keeping records of the company.
And the next time they are turning 2,
Yes.
they need another cake.
Keep relationship with your supplier, the cake shop. Now you found that other shop is cheaper than this one. Keep those records. Continue talking to your supplier. You may not even need credit.
Yes.
The supplier can actually give you short-term credit. Please give me those ingredients. I'll come and pay you by afternoon. I just want to make sure the order is out.
Yes.
Look, it's non-interest credit just because of relationship with the supplier. You see, so you start building credibility with your suppliers, with your clients, in the value chain, with everyone. Already before you know it, your business is formalizing one day at a time. Informal gets you started. And formalizing your business gets you funded.
Perfect. So, Dr. E, regulation, licensing, and policies in Zimbabwe are quite inconsistent. We know that MoneyMart Finance got its inaugural license from the regulator, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, in 2014. That's when, about that time. You have navigated this regulatory space for quite some time. And what have you learned from that environment, and how should entrepreneurs deal with this bureaucratic kind of environment that slows them down?
I love that mindset that you've already given our entrepreneurs talent to say it's bureaucratic. It scares them. It is not. It is not talent. So I loved also that you're asking me the lessons that I learned from regulation.
Yes.
You know, the issue of compliance talent is not really a burden. It's a competitive advantage. I look back, you know, when I won the first competition, it was actually from an impact investor from Kenya. If I had no Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe license, I was not going to stand a chance to win that competition and to be given that grant fund.
It was a prerequisite.
Of course, especially now when you're dealing with investors. So the issues of regulations, the key lessons that I want to give entrepreneurs are that learn the rules early. Just learn the rules. What does the regulator want? Can I go and talk to the regulator and tell them, I'm still small. Can you at least understand me? Take me through the steps. Do you know even Zimra give lessons on how you can be compliant with your taxes? Go sit down with them. Learn the rules early for any regulator. Build relationship with your regulators in whatever industry. You know, those regulators are people just like us.
Yes.
If there's anything, they are delighted when you confront them and you ask them some of these questions. And they are so very prepared to help you through it. And I want to believe, especially when you confront a regulator, whenever they're doing those checks, when they bump into you, they know this is our friend. She came looking for the information. She might not be there as yet, but we have confidence she's going to be there. I want to encourage entrepreneurs to stay compliant and document everything. Let's use emails. We are in the digital era. Talk to your regulator through emails. It's evidence enough, especially even in the court of law. Let's say something has happened, you have been taken to court and you need to explain yourself.
Yes.
You cannot go to court and say, I went on, I think it was 43 March, I don't remember. But when you have that email footprint where you engage your regulator, you ask questions, you can take out that email.
Yes.
Your Gmail account is evidence that at least
Communication happened.
you communicated everything that was happening to you. So I would say to entrepreneurs, don't avoid regulation. Engage it early. Tell them your pain points. Tell them the difficulties. Ask them if they've got any that they know, maybe in terms of consultants that can help you through that regulatory map and be compliant. So it's not bureaucratic, as you said it. It's just you having to get to know the rules early enough.
Perfect. Waxing lyrical, we are right here. We're still talking to Dr. E, and I'm sure the entrepreneur out there is learning a lot. Doc, let's talk about scaling of a business. It involves a lot of risks, doesn't it? Sometimes wrong timing can destroy everything. So what is your framework for knowing when to grow a business, when to scale a business, and when to hold on to the position that you are in?
Talent growth is not speed. It's sustainability. I've picked that most entrepreneurs, they want to grow with so much speed. They want to arrive too early. It's sustainability. Now, MoneyMart Finance is being known at this extent, and it has grown to be this brand. People think MoneyMart is 3 years old. Not at all, Talent. In this year, I think we are celebrating 12 years.
Now 12 years, yes.
It's 12 years. MoneyMart was not known in its first 5 years. Sustainable systems were being set for it to boom to where it is today. Now it seems it's just a baby that just grew from the corner. Growth is not speed.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's sustainability. So what I would say the framework for young entrepreneurs out there, I'll say number one, you need to see if there's consistent demand. Let me go back to the cake business. I think it's the case study.
That's our point of reference,
It's
isn't
the
it?
case study of the top.
Indeed.
Look, I started realizing that people now enjoy eating together. They now enjoy whatever event they need this cake. You know, at one time I made a cake of a guitar. They were celebrating the musician. At one time I made a cake of a graduation cap. You know, it was just a cake business. But every event of life, when people are documenting it, you know, it's in our culture, ukama igasha. Unozadziswa nekuria.
Yes.
Where
You come from. Kuria.
Unozadziswa nekuria.
Yes.
So I picked it that there's so much demand in this business. So that consistent demand, it really needed me to start, you know, thinking about how will I scale the cake business. Repeat customers, you know, when you see a customer wanting to bake a cake for a 1-year-old who doesn't know what is a cake, it's for the adults to just enjoy and marry. It means that particular customer will take advantage of any event to have
Another cake.
Yes.
Yes.
Those repeat customers, keep on checking on them. What's the next event at your home? Are you not celebrating the new curtains?
Yes.
I can bring a cake with some good curtains.
When is your anniversary?
So those repeat customers signals you to say, no, there's opportunity for scaling. Let me talk about positive cash flows. You know, a business can run with losses, but when it has a very healthy cash flow, it can survive the losses, right? So you don't want to be the one always, every time, feeding the business from your pocket. Like I told you, being disciplined, separating business finances and personal finances.
Yes.
And that operational stability, stabilize your operations. You know what, talent? I always tell entrepreneurs to say, your operations need to be documented. Do you know, talent? We ended up delivering, I think, about 10 to 15 cakes a day. The time we were now scaling Cake Mart. I was not the one who was now doing the baking. I documented the steps of how to bake a cake. Whilst I was delivering, my young sister who was helping me in the home would be baking the cake because I documented the steps. While I was busy icing for the next order, she was doing the egg white. I had documented, you use this cup, this one, go back to your chart, go back to your book. I even wrote in vernacular because I knew she could read Shona, not English. Sakandaganyora, isa sugar, 2 teaspoon. She understood 2 teaspoons of sugar, but I documented. So for you to stabilize your operations, document your operations so that you can get other people to help you. And for those processes that don't need you anymore, you can actually then invite someone, follow these steps, and the product will come out as exactly as you intend it to come out. And this is the signals for scaling.
Perfect. We are still in conversation with Dr. E, and we'll take a short breather once again. And when we come back, we'll carry on with this insightful conversation, quite helpful and really educational.
Iyi secret here kuti magetsi ari kumitsa. Muri kuita sei mumabhizimusi, vana vechikoro uye kubika mudzimba. Vema butcheries nyama haisikuora here. Isu veMosolako tine masolar systems anopedza matambudziko ese iwaya. Tine masolar systems anotangira pa 1 kVA kusvika pa size yamunoda. Anosimudza kubva kumalights kusvika kuentertainment, mafridges pamwe chete nemaboreholes. Kana usina mari yakakwana, haisi nyaya. Tinoita inonzi pay as you go, kubhadhara mbichana mbichana uchitoshandisa system yako. Kuti ubatsirike, bata vesales team yedu. Desire pa 0787 831 578. Kana kubata Aubrey pa 0771 216 155. Amula pa 0779 234 125. KuMosolako tinoti renewable energy, changing lives.
Welcome back. It is still the Entrepreneur's Corner. We are happening right here at MoneyMart Finance. We don't only bring you the best financial services, but we also give you the best financial advice. And I'm still with Dr. Mupambwa, the founder and group CEO of MoneyMart Finance. Now, Doc, we were talking about scaling of a business, and then of course how entrepreneurs should know when to scale. Now, let's talk about some of the most common mistakes that Zimbabwean business owners make that would prevent them from growing, and perhaps advice on how they can fix them.
Talent, that's a very big question. That's a very big question. And thank you for bringing this. The number one mistake that I want to explain today, there are many others. Look, there are many, but let me streamline so that at least our entrepreneurs really look at this.
Yes.
When we then talk about others, it's now advanced class. The basics first. Number one is the confusion of revenue and profit. Revenue and profit. Your sales is not equal to your profit. Entrepreneur know that, because I'm meeting entrepreneurs who are telling me they are making as much as $5,000 in revenue. But at the end of the month, they don't know where that money is gone. They are not understanding what's going on. Right now, I tell you, I've got my uncle who just passed on to glory. May his soul rest in peace. But he was working with these young girls in his business. So I sat down with my mother. These are my mothers. Look, Ndwana Mainini.
Yes.
My mothers, because they come from my mother's family. I sat down with the young people. I tell you, I've got a 19-year-old. I've got a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Oh, the eldest one, I think she's 22, 23.
Okay.
I said, you are going to continue with your father's business. They're in printing business.
Okay.
You are going to continue with your father's business. And I'm going to be sitting here helping you into it. And they said, no, Ethel, we can't. This business does not give us any money. This is the reason why our father has just died a poor man. I don't think it's the best idea. We need to go back. If you could assist us and go back to college. The other one was saying, I want to do pharmacist. But look, they've been trained because they were the employees in this business. They were trained in this business.
Yes.
And they knew what their father was doing. I said, let's get onto it.
Yes.
I tell you, that confusion of revenue and profit was killing the business. And as entrepreneurs, I'm saying your cash flow matters more than your turnover. So you need to understand, how did I come to price this product of mine? Because we are just copying the next shop. If printing is $4 for 10, because the next shop is saying $4 for 10, we have not understood where they've gotten their ink.
The price from.
You don't know where they got their bond paper. You don't know their rentals. Yes, it's allowing them to print $4 for 10, but is it the same with you?
With you, yes.
So this is where you're running your losses. Your rentals are so high. You don't know there's economies of scale. If I go and get this whole bond paper, a ton of bond papers, I get it cheaper, you know?
Yes.
So this is where then you confuse that revenue. Then you say, but I did $5,000 a month. Where did it go? It was all eaten up. Your cost of sales were higher than the sales themselves. That's the number one mistake. The number two mistake that I want to tell my young entrepreneurs out there is, I talked about poor record keeping. They need to fix that. But let me talk about this. What you don't measure will destroy your business. What you don't measure will destroy your business. You need to give yourself targets. Are you measuring your progress? When you don't do that, that business will just be destroyed. It's a mistake for you to think because today is a Friday and it was so hot, you have been selling freezes. Then you sold a whole $50 and you think it's going to continue like that. Look around you. What has made you do such a sale? It's because it was a hot day.
Yes.
Is it going to be the same in June? How are you measuring your performance in June when you're selling freezes? These are the mistakes entrepreneurs make. And the other mistake that I just want to address here right now is that mistake of wanting to be known as the CEO too early. Talent.
The title itself.
The title, the things around you. You know, to want to make yourself a small entrepreneur. Yes, you are right. You are so very right. You are the CEO of your business.
Yes.
But you want to make your benefits and your outlook with that CEO of Econet Wireless. Come on.
Nice clothes, expensive things.
They should see me.
They should see me.
They should see me in that good drive. It's a mistake. Grow with your own pace. Look, when CEOs are called to come out, you are also going to go there. It's your title. But your business might not be allowing you to have those luxuries that those CEOs of a big companies are having today because they've worked it out. And the revenues, the profits are allowing them to have those luxuries. Let's not quickly arrive. I always say that. One day at a time. I started talent walking from Cranbourne into town. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
On your feet.
Hey, it made me fit. At one time, when business demanded, I got onto Toyota Rao. It was fit for that purpose.
Yes.
Now I had to go to Mfakos, to Mbare, to Glenview. So I needed the mobility around me. When business grew, the rest is history.
Of course. Okay, so for the entrepreneur sitting at home right now, struggling and wondering if they can start or not, what would you want to say to them?
Let me talk to you. You're a young person, especially the age group of 18 to 35 years of age. I want to say, yes, I do agree with you. Zimbabwe is difficult. But Zimbabwe has got huge opportunities. When you live in a country without any difficulties, you will not get anything out of it. The difficulties that Zimbabwe is facing today, it's needing you to solve those difficult, seemingly problems. You see, so it's very possible and you can do it. Successful businesses started small. Go and listen to any entrepreneur you have got access to. The true story, they never started where they are today. Now we are being interviewed because we have walked the journey. If I had not walked the journey, I would not have these stories to share with you. Start small, in that veranda, in that home that you are in. I talked last time about making detergents. You don't even need a big room for you to do detergents. Your mother's small kitchen can make you be able to do detergents. Start small and then grow. Start before you are ready. That step to start is key. You don't need to be ready. In everything that you're afraid of, the greatest fear for you is the fear not to start. So start. Other fears, the doors will just open. I told you one time, Talent, the first time I went to the airport, the door was closed. And I was like, what if the plane just then takes off and they are not
Still
opening
behind
their
the door.
doors? I'm still behind the door. When I started walking to go and knock at that door, the door
Just opened.
opened on its own. Look how thrilling it was. That thing that you're afraid of, go and knock on it. You find that you not even need to knock. That door will open for you. And progress beats perfection, Talent. Make those little steps of progress. You don't even need to perfect it. You said it when we were starting. Don't be that person who is perfect. So I would say to you, entrepreneur, start small, stay consistent with what you are doing, build those systems. I told you systems are not those huge infrastructures. Write down your repetitive tasks so that someone can follow through and help you out with. Never underestimate the power of one disciplined step every day. Every day, wake up to it. Continue, be on it. Please, every day, before you go to bed, plan your tomorrow so that you have that power to wake up and you have somewhere to start. This is what I would say to the young entrepreneurs out there.
And then, Doc, in wrapping up, let's talk about ERPs for small and growing businesses in Zimbabwe. Is it something that an entrepreneur needs from day one, or is something that they can take on board as they go?
Talent, you should have started with this question before me giving the young entrepreneurs advice. But let me take it quickly on ERPs. Look, what you just need to do is to start. Day number one, start. You get it?
Yes.
You just have to start. And ERPs, you don't start with them on day number one. I never had any ERP when I started in MoneyMart Finance. Right. Start simple. Use that Excel spreadsheet. You know, I remember burdening my husband. He's coming from the scientific world. Look, he's a paint chemist.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would say, I want you to sit down, baby. Please do this Excel. This is how you do it. Don't worry about, I've just put in the formulas. You punch for me these numbers because I will not sleep today. Here are my papers. Punch the numbers for me. I'll reason out with what would have come out there. So start with Excel. It's basic. Start with writing down. Now we have got so many basic accounting tools online which are for free.
Yes.
Start with those. But as you scale, now you have multiple employees. You're inviting others to help you. Look, inventory is growing. Your stocks are growing. The transactions are increasing by day. Then you're introducing the entry point of any ERP in your business.
Yes.
Don't take it the whole full spectrum. It's just that entry point to manage now the momentum that's taking up. But now when you have grown, now you need the full scalability, the full scale of the ERP for you to be able to easily manage your business. So what I want to say to entrepreneurs is that systems should grow with your business and should not suffocate it at birth. Why are you paying that payroll system,
To pay just 5 employees.
To pay just 5 employees. Yet you can have an Excel and take that Excel guru, and even the pay as you earn can be computed on Excel, and you get going.
Yes.
So systems should not suffocate your business when you're starting, but they should grow with the business. Let me really emphasize that. You really need those ERP systems, especially when you're scaling and you're growing, but know when to plug what at what point in that business. The business itself would demand a certain level of ERP. So you never get confused along those lines.
There you have it, viewers. I was in conversation with Dr. Ethel Mupambwa, founder and group CEO of MoneyMart Finance. The conditions don't have to be perfect for you to get started in business. The greatest thing you can ever do for yourself is to get started. That's it for now. Until next time, tune in to our YouTube channel every Wednesday as we give you more of these and exciting content. My name is Talent Kasu, and thank you so much, Dr. E, for joining us.
Thank you, Talent. Thank you, entrepreneurs out there. I'm vying for you. I know that if a Gokwe girl did it, you can do it too.
From the Gokwe girl and myself, we are signing out.
Say hello to a smarter, faster way to get instant answers with MoneyMart Finance. Meet Libby, your 24/7 virtual assistant, ready to help you every step of the way. Need financial guidance? Looking to apply for a loan? Libby has you covered instantly. No queues, no hold music, no branch visits, just a simple WhatsApp message anytime, anywhere. It's fast, secure, and incredibly convenient. Everything you need is right in your hands. Step in the future of finance today, save our number, and send a hi, and let Libby take you from there. MoneyMart Finance, empowering your dreams, one conversation at a time.
MoneyMart Finance, creating wealth, changing lives through digital means.